Oh my golly. Oh. You would think that the rescue calls would stop coming, but no, we're still at it. We've got this lovely lady down here in downtown Loxton's got some bees in her fish pond, she reckons. So I don't know, we'll have to go in the backyard and have a bit of a look, see where they are. I wonder where the little darlings are. That's a good idea, they've got a productive front lawn. Look at, they've got an apricot tree in the front yard. So what have we got, lad? You find anything? Yeah, it looks a bit suspicious. I think we've got some bees under a dog. Under a dog next to a chair, that's something different. I'm suspecting that they're not going to be real big in that little box, but we'll see if we can move the lady's chair and have a bit of a peekaboo, shall we? Shit, don't break anything. That'll be the next thing. Hello, puppy dog, what have you done? Oh, would that make these the dog bees or fish pond bees? I don't know. Could be duck bees. Wah, wah. Oof, oof. Well, there you go. That's odd, the ducks are heavier than the dog. Now, what's going to happen? I don't know. We'll see. They don't seem real angry. Well, I don't think I'm a superhero, even though there is probably, they're not really attacking us, but I think once we pick them out of there, we might not do that. I think I'll go and get my suit on because I'm a chicken. I think we'll need a little bit of smoke just to keep them sensible. Oh. We might take that in there for a start. In my daggy box. Golly gosh, could have brought a better box. Oh well, we can put them in a different box later, can't we? It's interesting when I was talking to another older beekeeper that I know, and he was talking about trying to catch your queen. And I said to him, you know, like, I asked him, have you ever had to tip your bees out onto a sheet on the ground to find a queen when you're looking for her? And he says with great wisdom, don't be daft. Just when you go to the bee box and you want to find the queen, just don't give them very much smoke. Just a little bit of smoke in the entrance, and then not too much on the top. No, maybe not even any on the top. And then when you start going through the frame, she won't have gone and run and hid in the corner of the box. The only downside to that is if they're a little bit of an angry hive, probably going to get stung, but you'll be able to find the queen easier. So next time we're looking for our queen, it'll be less smoke and more nerves, or more nerve as in strength. Give that a try next time you're looking for your queen. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say. Well, it looks to me as if the hive's sitting on the roof of that jolly wooden bit that we can lift up. So if we get some bits of wood and sit across here, we should be able to sit the roof inside this. Maybe not with this bit. And then we'll shake the girls off of that lot of honeycomb and put them on the frames, and then come back later on, like usual, come back later and get them. Now, there's not very many of them there, so it shouldn't be too hectic. I think the last said they'd only been here for a month, so they don't look like they were real big. Apparently it was a big swarm and this was the only bit that was left behind, so I'm hoping that they actually did keep a queen in there, otherwise that'll be a pain. All else fails, if there's no queen, we'll just take them home and throw them into a box. We'd have got a queen. If I sit that in there, it'll be one less thing to carry, won't it? As long as it doesn't melt a hole through the bottom of the plastic pot. Right, these bits, that's what you call ab-libbing. I'm over the bridge and far away. Hope even the coffee agrees. Rightio, what are we going to do, young John? Okie doke. Now, chickie babes. What do you reckon? They're not the busiest bees, so I wouldn't think they're that big. Let's see what we can discover, shall we? I hope they're not hooked on the other wall there. Yep. Ah, look at that. Look at that. They've been there for a little while. I think they have got a boss because there's some nice bit of eggs in there. I'll just sit them there like that. That'll work. Did I bring a hive tool with me? Oh, of course I did. I left it over there. That would be too convenient, wouldn't it? Just so get this little bit. Nearly had a fit. I thought they were going to run out of that hole down there. we're all good, I think. I think I'm going to go over where there's a little bit more room, make my life a bit easier. We'll do the normal routine and we'll actually just shake some of the bees off here, put our honeycomb on our frames, sit the box back here nice and neat, and hell, come back tonight, pick them up and put them into some service. Hopefully, is the plan. Right, now everybody just stay together, that would be good. Right, oh, now if we sit them behind here, fascinates me every time I do this, how it looks like there's hardly anything happening at the front of a beehive, or a whole hive, or whatever you want to call this. And now you take it away and the traffic comes back and has nowhere to actually deposit their wares, and it's as busy as. It's crazy. Imagine when you've got a massive big hive and it actually looks busy anyway, how much traffic there really is. It's deceiving. You wouldn't think there'd be that much going on. I mean, there was like 1 or 2 bees perhaps when we were looking at them. And now look at it, there's a whole blooming 20 or 30 there waiting for find out where they're going. Just goes to show how diligent they are, doesn't it? I'm just trying to decide whether I should shake the bees into that box, like shake them off of the frame that they're on. And then I should have brought the wire netting in if I was going to do that. I think that would be a good idea, though it might be a little bit awkward to work with. Being that there's a limited population, we don't want to lose any workers that we don't have to, so we'll keep them all safe. Hey, Cocky. Over the bridge and far away we go. Ta-da-ta-da! Well, I'm just looking at them nicely clustered up in there, and I'm thinking I'm going to shake them into our box, put our nice vented lid on, and then we can do the honeycomb a little bit at a time when they haven't got all covered in bees. I reckon that's my plan anyway. Well, it's doing its own falling to bits. Now, haven't got very much honey here anyway. The main thing you want to make sure, of course, is you don't lose the boss, because that's all you don't need on this project. So we'll just sort of make sure we shake the bees off of everything before we actually do. Oh, there she is, look at that. What did I do with that queen cage? Come here, Majesty. Yep. Ah! At least she can't fly anymore. Come on, in you go. Cool, very good. Now there you go, now we can relax a little bit. Now don't put her in the sun, all right? Just make sure you put her in the shade, because the last thing you want to do after you've actually got her all nice and safe is put her in the sun and then she gets cooked. And that's a negative approach, right? So still we want to be nice to all the bees that we've still got. We've got the boss. Now we just want to get all the other ladies orientated to our box. And then look out. That's a good result though, so you don't have to worry about blooming crushing her then. You don't want to crush anybody else either for that matter. Cool. What have we got if we lift up in here and have a look? Oh, she's laying beautifully. Good. Just get them out of there. We'll shake these girls off of here and I'll show you how cool this is. She's only got a really light little workforce. They're not too upset with us either, which is good. We'll just poke them in there. I'm just wondering which pocket my rubber ring bands are in. If you're new to this cutout idea, rubber bands are the treat. I tell you what, saves you a whole lot of mucking about, and what's more, they'll clean them up. Along the journey, our rubber bands we decided to get thinner and thinner ones, which just makes it even easier for the girls to clean up their mess. Well, actually, clean up our mess that we've created for them. Can you see how she's laying in a nice circle pattern, where she's laying the young larvae at the outside and the older cat brood in the middle? So she's doing a nice job. So I'm glad we caught her, because she's a keeper. And we'll get another piece. They don't seem too fussed about us. If you can possibly get organised, you want to hang them. So they were hanging from the roof, so you want to make sure that the roof edge is at the top of the frames that you're putting them on, because they will actually have a slight angle on the honeycomb that they've laid the eggs in. So you don't want to stick them in there upside down if you possibly can avoid it. Just try to put them back kind of how they come out of the place that you're cutting them out from, because otherwise, it just helps them. Even though, of course, they're going to be totally disorientated at the minute, but at the very least, put it back the same way up as it was when you took it out of the box. Being that you've just sat them on the outside of your frame and your wire's here, So you need them to still have room so they can feed their young and do their thing. You see how there's still a gap there? If you put them face to face like that, you're going to have a hell of a mess, and all that brood's going to die that's in here. So if you do it this way, they're still in with a fighting chance of being able to work it out. Right, and this is probably the lucky last one, I reckon. Is actually doing anything much. Good on you, girls. What a good job. Look at that. That's even a designer one. Perfect for the frame. I just got here in the right amount of time. Oh, rubber bands, rubber bands. This is not a brand new box, so but that doesn't really matter for this project. It's got a cool little door on it that I thought might be helpful when we come back tonight, rather than have to stuff a bit of newspaper in there. We've got one little piece left in here. This is only the fresh bit. This hasn't got any eggs in it. Very young nectar, so we're going to put it in there. Sometimes I won't take it if it's too honey and it's going to drip everywhere, but this is one little tiny piece. And it's only a little bit of nectar that they're starting to store there, so they might as well keep that. Since they've gone to all that hard work, I just think since it's not a real big, strong swarm, they might as well have all the advantages that they can get. You want to see something cute? The girls are all in here just licking up the little bit of spilled honey that we've got. So I reckon what we'll do is we'll put our box over where it's meant to be, where the entrance was, and then we'll chuck our worker bees in, and then I guess we'll let our queen go and see whether they can all figure themselves out. That was a pretty relaxed cutout, wasn't it? Golly gosh. Oh, we'll be home in time for dinner. Oh, that's if I can get up. Now, of course, you're going to have to face your box where the original opening was, if you possibly can. Of course, the field bees that have come back after the hard day's work are not very impressed at the moment with us. So they're all flying around here going, where the hell's our home? What's going on? You find the bees that are actually in the box over here, most of them are nurse bees, because they're just young bees that have just started to hatch out, so they're doing all the nurse bee work. Interesting thing about being a baby bee is you actually have to feed all the other bees. Because they actually eat the nectar, as you can see them eating that bit of honey in there, but they eat the nectar and they put it in their honey tummies, and then they make some juice out of their mandibles, and everybody else gets fed from them. So just remember, kids, when you're complaining about your vegetables, if you were a bee, you'd have to feed your mum and dad. Of course, they've decided to go downstairs, of course. I'll just shake these girls in here to keep the brood happy, and then we'll go and figure out a covering for that. As you can see, they're not a very big group, but they're big enough. Yeah, just pop that on there for a minute so they can work out what they're doing. I'm going to go and get a bit of plastic or something to stick over this bit here, because I'm tipping if we move that box back, there's going to be a whole box under the ground full of bees, which is where they think they're meant to go. So we'll just change their direction. Feel like I'm on my own adventure over that bridge. Are they reorientating to the box a bit, or what are they doing? I reckon we'll just take the box out the way for a minute, pop it over there. That's very relaxed. Whoa, that's my crazy ass drawer. Oh, there's hardly anybody down there actually. That's good. So we'll just clean this bit of honeycomb off here, so hopefully when the next swarm decides to fly past this lovely lady's house, they don't think, hell, there's some girls have been here before. Now, you've got to have a look at that. That is pretty incredible, actually, before I scrape that last one off. How clever are these bees, honestly? Have a look at this. See how they've stuck themselves to the roof? So they've used their honeycomb section, of course, and they've got half a honeycomb here, which they've hooked along to the roof. That's fairly structurally genius, isn't it? I mean, honestly, that's pretty clever. I wonder where along the journey of nature bees decided to hang from I guess because they were flying and they were in a tree originally. That's why when you put bees in a bee box on the frames, they're already used to working in a straight line and hanging from the frame and working themselves out. So we're really just making it so we can inspect them and look after them a bit more healthy. We're not actually doing anything that they wouldn't do naturally themselves. But anyway, I just thought you should see that. That's kind of cool. Oh, get in there. Give it a bit of smoke down the hole so everybody runs away. Everybody out the hole. Right, even had a little cutout bit for the pipe. Right, so I figure sit that back there. We're just going to cover up their flight entrance so they can't get in there, because we don't want them in that hole. Otherwise we'll come back tonight and the girls will be down that jolly hole instead of in the box that we want them to be in. And that'll be a nuisance. We'll use Mr. Pig to hold it together, shall we? Right. I don't know about me door. Maybe that door's going to be more a nuisance than it's worth. But anyway. Right, there we go, ladies. Just put that across there. I think there was meant to be a nail there once upon a time. Timber! It's not the best looking box. Right, okay. Now, for the boss. Don't forget the boss, otherwise you'll be most distressed. It'll be a whole lost cause. Some of her faithful attendees have found her over there and said, "What are you doing over here in the cage, boss woman? Help me, help me." Now, when you've got them in one of these crazy roll-ass cages, just be very careful you don't rip her legs off when you open it up, all right? So you've got to tap her down, because you sit up there and she'll sit in here and this rolls open. So you want to make sure she's on the mat. And of course, if we were getting real excited, you could have your texter and you could mark her while you're in there. We're not getting that excited. And then she flies off. Look at that, in she goes, and all the girls sing a happy little song and say, "Here's the boss, yay!" Cool, so that's groovy, so we know we've got our queen safely in the box. She's all happy, the girls are all happy, the beekeeper's happy. Ah, that's a good result all round. All we do now is come back and take the girls out of this lovely lady's garden and the lady will be happy. Right, we'll pop the lid on and then that's all she wrote until tonight. I think tomorrow's cutout will be much more entertaining. Apparently we've got one to get out of a boot of a car. Oh, I don't know about that. Anyway, tune in next week and see how we get on. Oh, well, we're here in the gobbly friggin' cold with my shirt off. I should have got a jumper on. It's the big rescue now. Got to get the ladies rescued. Look at that, it's Christmas in the backyard. Awesome. Oh. Ooh. Oh, come on, you can do it, Duffy Moon. I can't believe that it was 40 degrees the other day and now I'm thinking, man, I should have found a jumper. Because the home's still blooming hot, even with the air conditioner being running. Oh, yeah, we just put the ducks back, shall we? And woof woof dog. Did a woof woof dog? Was the dog that way or that way? I'm pretty sure in the real world that dog would eat those ducks. But anyway. Oh, Stroth. Very good. Over the bridge we go. Over the bridge we go. Over the bridge we go. Really suck if they're not in here. This is all just the recovery bee site. We'll sit them up there. They can sit up there for a minute. Hope they're in there. I'm not going to look in there though without my suit on. We'll come in the morning and we'll see where they are. I got my Batman cape on. We're all good. To the rescue! Here we are. It's not quite the morning. It's actually the afternoon the next day, so I hope the girls are okay because we've got ourselves a bit tangled up on the other jobs. Our little ladies look like they've settled in, which is good. We won't pull the lid off because there's not that many girls in there, so we don't need to stir them up. I just wanted to make sure they were flying in and out the entrance, and then I'll come back in probably about a month or so and we'll make sure they're expanding, and if they've expanded enough, we'll do what we did with the last hive and we'll put that little cutout frames above the queen excluder and we'll let them breed out and it'll all look chickety-boo when we get into the... Where the hell are we into? We're nearly into summer. Down here in Oz, it's nearly summer, so I'm guessing upside down there in America, it'll be winter. Anyway, keep on keeping on.